Hello students, welcome to groundwater and hydraulics classes. In previous class we have seen what is mean by pump, what is the necessity of pump and how to select a pump. So pump is what? It is a device, it is a mechanical device or it is an arrangement by which water is caused to flow at an increased pressure. That is known as a pump, and the process of using pump is known as the pumping. So in today's class we'll discuss the different types of pumps. So the different types of pumps are airlift pump, then centrifugal pump, displacement pump, which includes reciprocating and rotary pump. Then there are few miscellaneous pumps. So we'll see one by one how is the working and what are the advantages and disadvantages of each type of pump. So first we'll discuss about the airlift pump. So in this type of pump, what is done is, as the name tells us that airlift, there is a compressed air which is used to lift the water. Okay, so it is called as airlift pump. So in such type of pumps, the compressed air is used to lift the water. So as you can see in the figure, right, a cross section is shown here. Okay, so the air pipe supplies the compressed air from the compressor. So here you can see in the image, okay, from the top you can see there is at the top you can see here there is a air from air compression. So here the inlet of air, okay, so air is supplied, the air pipe supplies the compressed air from the compressor. So such compressed air is then released through an air diffuser. So there will be an air diffuser which will release the compressed air to the footpiece. Okay, as you can see here, here at the footpiece you can see there is a air diffuser. You can see the triangular portion, that is a air diffuser, or it is called as a footpiece. Okay, so from this the compressed air is released into the pipe. Okay, so the air diffuser is located at the bottom of the educator pipe. So this pipe is called as the educator pipe. Okay, here you can see it is a eductor or educator pipe, and this pipe in which the water is present, and this pipe is called as the air pipe. Okay, because it is supplying the compressed air. So the air rises in small bubbles in the eductor pipe, and it forms a mixture of air and water. So here as you send air into this pipe, there is a mixture which is formed of air and the water. So this mixture has low specific gravity than the normal water, and what happens because of this, the pressure in this pipe, that becomes less than the pressure in the casing pipe, and this difference of pressure that will cause the water to rise in this pipe, that is eductor pipe, and it ultimately results in water which is coming out from this end. Okay, water coming out through the outlet, this is the outlet, and in the final stage the weight of the column of the water, that is from A to C, that is the total column, that is from A point, that is at the bottom, you can see here A to C, that is here the depth of the submergence of the pipe into the well, so that AC, it equals the weight of the column of air and water from A to B. So that is the length, that is the total length AC of the eductor pipe, that represents the depth of the submergence, and it is important for the efficient working of the pump. So the depth of submergence, that should be about 1/2 to 2/3 of its total length. So that is how the working principle of airlift pump. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of such type of pump is, so here in an airlift pump, it is cheaper if you compare with the other pump, and it is reliable and simple in operation. So that is one of the advantage. Then there are no moving parts of the pump which are in contact with the water. So there is no movement of any equipment, okay, or parts of the pump which are in contact with the water. So because of this reason, this type of pump can be used for the water which contains mud, silt, debris, etc., because there will be no any rotation or any movement in the parts which are under water. So that is and even you can use for highly acidic and alkaline water. So airlift pump is used for any type of water which is even polluted. Then the pumping from a number of wells can be done by installing a common compressor unit. So you can use a common air compressor, and you can use it for multiple wells. Then the yield of well by this type of pump is increased by using more compressed air. If you use more compressed air, you can get the more yield. So these are all the advantages of airlift pump. Then there are few disadvantages also. So the first disadvantage is, in order to achieve the length of submergence, okay, that is here you can see the depth of submergence, that is from A to C. Okay, the well is sometimes made deeper than the required, or what is not required. The depth is not necessity to go deep. In such cases, to achieve the objective, you have to go deeper than the required depth of that particular well. So this factor increases the cost of construction of the well. So that is one disadvantage. Then the efficiency of airlift pump is relatively low, and it varies from 20% to 45%. So the efficiency is less, and the nature of flow which is obtained from the airlift pump is not continuous. So you will not get the continuous water from the outlet. So but it is intermittent, right? So this is due to the fact that the small air bubbles are present which are pushing the water, right? They have a tendency to coalesce or to unite, and the large bubbles which are formed, they rise more rapidly than the water. So air bubbles will form. So that is the reason there will be intermittent water supply from this outlet of this airlift pump. Then the airlift pumps are less flexible in coping with the variation in demand. So if there is a variation in the demand, then this type of pumps are not used. Okay, so these are all the disadvantages of airlift pump. Then we'll see the next type of pump, that is a centrifugal pump, which is very commonly used. Okay, so there are again two types of centrifugal pump. So first we'll understand what is the working principle of centrifugal pump. So this type of pumps, they works on a principle that a vessel containing a liquid that is rotated about a point. So here centrifugal. So here there is a center point, okay, along which the blades are rotating. So the centrifugal force that causes the liquid level to rise. So the centrifugal pumps are divided into two groups. One is volute type and the other one is turbine type of pump. Okay, so in volute type pump, that is centrifugal pump, the impeller, so here there is a impeller, this is the impeller, the impeller, it discharges the water into gradually expanding spiral chamber. So there is a spiral chamber you can see here, okay, and the chamber is designed in such a way that the velocity of flow in it remains uniform. So it is designed such that the velocity remains uniform, and the conversion of velocity head into pressure head, it take place in this particular chamber, that is a where the impeller is present. So this is a volute type of pump. Then if you see the turbine type of pump, in here the turbine type of centrifugal pump, a fixed diffusion ring is inserted. Here there is a fixed diffusion ring is inserted between the impeller, that is the blades here, the impeller and the casing of the well. Okay, this is the casing and this is the impeller. So in between they insert a diffuser here. So the diffusion ring, it contains opening through which the water is led into the casing, and this type of pump is less popular than the volute type. So this shows a turbine type of centrifugal pump, that is a volute type or turbine type of pumps. They work on this principle. So the centrifugal pumps, they are also classified according to number of stages of pressure which is developed by the impellers, such as single stage, two stage or multi-stage centrifugal pumps. So we'll see what are the advantages of this type of centrifugal pumps. So the first advantage is the initial cost and the maintenance cost of such centrifugal pumps are comparatively less than those of other type of pumps. If you compare with other types of pumps, the initial cost as well as the maintenance cost of centrifugal pumps is less. Okay, then the design of pump is compact. Okay, and it can be installed in a very small place also, that is limited place. If it is available, then you can go for centrifugal pump. So this type of pumps, they can run with the high speed driving mechanisms such as electric motors or gas engines and the steam turbines. So anything you can use to run such type of pumps. Then the flow of water which is obtained from this type of pump is non-pulsating. So it is a continuous supply of water we will get. So there is absence of valve in this type of pump, and therefore and there are few moving parts in it, and therefore it is durable. Then the working of the pump is simple, and because of this reason it is more reliable type of pump, and this type of pump can be used to pump the water which contain sand, silt, smaller particles. If they are present, then also you can use centrifugal type of pump. Then we'll discuss what are the disadvantages of centrifugal pump. So the disadvantages includes the disadvantage from the pump varies with the head of the water. So because of this reason, when the uniform discharge is required under varying head, so if there is a head difference and you need uniform discharge, then the variable speed drive that becomes necessary for this type of pump. So when the pump is suddenly stopped with the discharge valve in open condition, then there is a possibility that the pump may run backward. So this type of pump cannot be started until it is initially full of water, and because of this reason the pump has to be kept submerged. Okay, so the centrifugal type of pump is always a submerged pump in the source of water. So the for high lift the efficiency is low, and it is about 50 to 80%. So if you need high lift, then the such type of pumps, they show very low efficiency, that is 50 to 80%. So this type of pumps are widely used in water supply schemes. So it is also available commercially in any desired capacity. So that is how the centrifugal pump will work. Then the next type is displacement pumps. That is the type, one type is reciprocating and rotary type. So these are the two types of pumps in displacement pump. So in the word displacement, in this type of pump, a vacuum is created in the chamber by some mechanical means, and then the water is drawn in the chamber. So the volume of water which is drawn by this particular method in the chamber, that is then shifted or displaced mechanically out of that chamber. So it is called as displacement pump. So displacement pumps, they are of two types. One is reciprocating pump and the other one is rotary pump. So we'll see first the reciprocating pump. So the working of reciprocating pump. In this type of pump, a piston or a plunger, you can see here in the image, okay, there is a piston here, okay, or it is called as plunger or a piston that moves inside a closed cylinder. This is a closed cylinder, okay. On the intake stroke, the suction valve remains open and it allows water to come into the cylinder, okay. So here what happens, there are different parts. We'll see first. There is a suction valve in a closed piston here, then there is a suction pipe here, then this is a piston rod, this is a piston, then there is a closed cylinder, this is a closed cylinder, and there is a connecting rod here, okay. Then this portion is a delivery valve in an open piston, and this is a delivery pipe, and this is the inlet for priming of the pump. So these are the different parts of reciprocating pump. So in this type of pump, what is done? A piston, okay, a piston or a plunger that moves inside a closed cylinder. So this piston is moving inside a closed cylinder. Yes, so this piston is moving inside a closed cylinder, and on the intake stroke, when you give a intake stroke, the suction valve, it remains, this is the suction valve, it remains open and it will allow the water to come in the this particular cylinder, and the delivery valve, it remains closed. So this delivery valve, it remains closed during the intake stroke, okay. During intake, delivery valve remains closed, and on discharge stroke, the suction valve is closed and the water is forced to in the delivery pipe through the delivery valve, which opens during the discharge stroke. So during discharge stroke, what happens? The discharge stroke, the suction valve is closed, okay. So here this during delivery, the suction valve is closed and this delivery valve is open, okay. And the water is forced in the delivery pipe through a delivery valve which opens during the discharge stroke. So the reciprocating pump, they may be single acting or double acting. So in the single acting type of pump, the water is discharged only on the forward stroke of the piston or a plunger. So whenever there is a forward stroke of the piston, only during that time the water is discharged. So in the double acting pump, the water is discharged on forward also and written stroke of the piston or the plunger. So it has some advantages and disadvantages. We'll see. So the advantages of reciprocating pump is it gives a constant discharge under the variable heads of water, and such type of pump is suitable for large pumping units, and it is durable and flexible. So these are the advantages of reciprocating pump. Then if you see the disadvantages, the initial cost is very high and it requires more space because the size is big, okay, for installation, and it needs skilled supervision during its operation. So because the one valve will close, one will open, so you need the skilled labor to operate this type of pump. So this type of pump is unsuitable for pumping of water which contains sand, silt, etc., because it will cause sudden stoppage of the pump and therefore it results into serious damage to the pump. So these are all the disadvantages of the reciprocating pump. Then we'll see what is mean by rotary pump. Okay, so the rotary, as there is a word tells us that there is a rotation. Okay, so in this type of pump the reciprocating motion is substituted by the rotary motion. So here the rotary motion is used, so that is called as a rotary pump. So the rotary motion is achieved by the cams. So these are called as the cams. You can see here CAMS, cams. So and here there are two types. One is rotary pump with cams and one is with gears. Okay, so these are the gears and these are the cams. Okay, so in this type of pump the rotary motion is achieved by the cams, as you can see, or by the gears, okay, as shown in the figure. So there are two cams or two gears which fit in each other. So if you see these both the cams or the gears, they fit in each other. You can see here they fit into each other. So they rotate in opposite direction. So the direction of rotation is opposite. You can see in the image here, this cam is rotating in this direction and this is rotating in this direction. Similarly with gears, this is rotating in this direction and other one is rotating in this direction. So they move or they rotate in opposite direction, and the water enters through the suction pipe. So here from the suction pipe, which is at the bottom, right, the water enters into the pipe through the suction pipe, and it is trapped between the cams and the gears. Okay, the water is trapped, or the teeth of the gears, okay, and the casing. So in between the gears and the casing, or the cams, okay, and the casing. So this is the casing, okay, and these are the cams, or these are the gears, and this is the casing. So when water enters into this, it is trapped between these cams and the casing. Okay, so it is then thrown with the force into the discharge pipe. Okay, it is thrown with a force because there is a motion. Okay, there is a movement of these cams and gears, and because of that it will throw the water into the discharge pipe. So depending upon the size and shape of the cams or gears, a certain quality of water is thus raised with each rotation. So we'll see what are the advantages of this type of pump, that is rotary pump. So the rate of flow from a rotary pump is uniform, it is steady and constant without any pulsation. So you will get a constant flow rate. then it is possible to use this type of pump with high speed, and therefore a rotary pump of small size, they can possess a high capacity. So even though the size is small, it will have a high capacity. Then it is self priming. Okay, there is no need of priming separate for the pump. Then it does not require any valve, and its operation and maintenance are very easy and simple. So these are the advantages of rotary type of pump. Then what are the disadvantages is the initial cost is high. The cost of this initial cost is very high. Then it requires frequent replacement of cames and gears, and therefore it is not durable, and it involves more maintenance cost. So the maintenance cost is more. Then there is a considerable slip of water, that is all the water that is sucked in the into the whatever is sent by the suction pipe, that is not all the water is not discharged. So the slip that becomes excessive with increase in the wear and tear of the pump. So because of this wear and tear, because it is working for more number of days, then there will be wear and tear of these gears and cames. And what happens, you will face the water, instead of going up, it will be falling down. So the slip becomes more instead of discharge. Okay, so this type of pump cannot be used for water which contains sand, silt, clay, etc., because these are the suspended particles. They act as impurities, and they cause the wear and abrasion of the cames and the gears. Okay, there will be this will lead to destruction of the seal between the came and the casing. So these are all the disadvantages of rotary pump. So these are the main important types of pump. Okay, one is rotary pump, okay, airlift pump, then displacement. In that we have seen the two types of pumps. Okay, then there are few miscellaneous types of pumps like hydraulic ram, then jet pump. These are again the different types of pumps which come under miscellaneous types of pump. So with this, the types of pumps with its advantages, disadvantages, and the working principle, that is over. So the module 5 is over. Next class we will start with the module 3. Thank you.